My cousin lowered the blender. When Derek's flight confirmation added a woman he never mentioned, the kitchen went quiet because my cousin thought she was helping. We were 3 days into an Outer Banks rental for my grandmother's 75th birthday. Derek had been invited because we were close enough to be treated like the next engagement without ever saying it. There was one weekend in March that never sat right with me. He said he had mandatory Austin training, flew out Saturday, and spent the weekend with corporate. I believed him because I wanted to, and because that same weekend my mother had a biopsy follow-up, and I did not have the energy for a trust fight too. He sent flowers to my mother from the airport, texted me a conference badge photo, and acted offended when I asked why he disappeared for 6 hours that Saturday night. By the beach trip, I had not forgotten any of it. I had just filed it under things I could not prove without sounding unstable. Tuesday afternoon, everyone was in the kitchen arguing about dinner and airport rides home. My cousin Tessa was sorting printouts for the Dolphin cruise because the rental Wi-Fi kept dropping confirmation texts. Derek said our return flight details were in his travel folder if anyone needed times. He handed it to Tessa and said the airline papers were clipped inside. Tessa is the safe cousin. She protects the mood. She opened the folder, pulled one stapled packet, glanced down and said, "Wait, this isn't for Sunday." Then she read the names because she thought she was being useful. Derek Rowan and Mia Santos, Columbus to Austin, March 15th. Nobody moved for a second because it took that long for the date to land. March 15th was my mother's appointment weekend. My aunt tried to rescue it first. She said maybe Derek books travel for coworkers, and Tessa grabbed old paperwork by mistake. I might have let that breathe if Tessa had not flipped the page and said there were only 2 passenger names on 1 reservation code. Then my brother, from the sink, asked why Derek told everyone he was traveling alone when Mom got flowers from the gate. That was the second clue, and once those connected, the room changed. Derek said Mia was a marketing rep whose seat got booked through his corporate portal because her profile glitched. He said the family was turning normal work travel into something ugly because I had clearly been suspicious for months. He was not entirely wrong. I had been. I asked one question. If it was innocent, why tell me over and over that Austin was solo? He said because I would have spiraled over any woman's name on a booking. My aunt told me not to make Grandma's trip about my insecurities. Then Grandma asked, "Who is Mia? And why is Derek answering like he practiced it?" Nobody had a good answer. Tessa, who gets literal when people lie around her, kept reading. She said the packet also included an early check-in request attached to the same confirmation thread and asked whether work trips usually needed that on shared weekend reservations. He reached for the pages. I got them first. Maybe this is the part people would argue about. The packet still did not prove he slept with Mia. Maybe he covered for a coworker. Maybe he flirted just enough to keep something going and thought that did not count because it happened on travel time instead of in my face. But he had absolutely lied about the shape of that weekend, and he had done it while sending supportive messages to my mother and telling me he could not call because training ran late. That made my brother stop defending him. It made my aunt stop calling me sensitive. It made Tessa carry the whole folder to my mother without being asked. I told Derek he could take the downstairs pullout or buy his own hotel, but he was not sharing my room key for the rest of the trip. Grandma said that sounded fair enough. By dessert, every cousin knew enough to pick a side, and Derek no longer had the luxury of making my doubts sound like bad timing instead of pattern recognition.